So, welcome. Thank you for volunteering to take part of our focus group. We are looking to find out information on how you feel about concert and music festival pricing and how that goes. So that's going to be our focus today. We want to make sure that we use our time effectively because I know everybody's busy and has things to do. So before we get started, I'm just going to go over a few of the ground rules so that way we can make sure that this goes really smoothly and effectively and we use your time wisely and get exactly what we're needing. So the most important one is that everybody tries to talk one at a time. So please let the person finish saying whatever they have to say because we don't want to miss that valuable information before you jump in. And there is no order. So if somebody starts over here and then somebody else has something to say afterwards, feel free to chime in just as long as you're not cutting them off. The other thing is there are no right and wrong answers. We're looking to know your honest opinion on the subject. So we have no agenda in terms of we want you to answer it a specific way. We just want to know what it is that you feel about it. So don't feel any pressure to have to answer it a certain way. That's not a problem at all. The other thing is you want to make sure that there's no side conversations happening, even if they're about the subject matter, just because we want to make sure we get all of that information. So if you have anything else to add, just go ahead and jump right in after somebody's done talking rather than sharing it with your neighbor. The other thing too is we ask that you don't be on your phones or texting. Just go ahead and silence them so that way we can use our time effectively. The other thing is if you don't agree with the view of somebody, that's okay, but in this group we're going to make sure that we're respectful of everybody's outlook and their opinion, and you can go ahead and give yours as well, but let's do so in a way that the other person doesn't feel like put down for how it is they feel. And then let's see, what else do we have? I think that's it as far as our ground rules go. So does anybody have any questions? We're good? Okay, perfect. So we're going to start just by introducing ourselves. So if you guys want to, whoever wants to start, we'll go around and say everybody's name so you get to know one another.
Katie, Morgan, Krista, Melissa,
Scully,
Caitlin,
Taylor,
Tanya,
Andrew.
Perfect. Okay. So that was easy enough, and it'll make the next part hopefully you feel a little more comfortable sharing stuff. So we're going to start off with the first question is, I want you to consider and think about what you would classify as your ideal concert or festival experience. What would that entail? What's involved in that? Is it something you've already been to or not? Just go ahead and take a minute to think about that. And then whenever somebody's ready, go ahead and share your thoughts on it. Somebody's got to have something. What makes you go?
I would say Stagecoach. I don't know how familiar everybody is with it, but there's multiple stages, there's different concerts going on the whole time, and there's different artists, so you're not just watching one person perform the whole time.
So what would you say makes that concert ideal? What factors?
I'm a big fan of country music, and so getting to see different artists all at one festival is really cool. You're paying quite a bit of money for one ticket, but you're seeing a bunch of different artists, so it makes it worth it.
So we feel that makes it worth it. Is the number of artists present
Yeah.
will reflect in the price and what you're willing to pay? What about somebody else? What makes it an ideal concert? Whether it's one that already exists or maybe what you just wish existed as far as a concert festival goes.
No seating guidelines.
No seating guidelines?
Floor.
Okay, so
First come, first serve. You get there first, you're front row.
like Southwest Airlines type of thing. Show up, we see, awesome. Okay, so just no set plan. What else would be an ideal concert experience?
if you're paying lots of money, like free water, because, you know, things like Stagecoach are like things that are outside, you get hot and you're dancing, you're having fun, like free water would be pretty nice because, you know, everyone wants to drink water and everyone pays like $5 for a water bottle, which is pretty ridiculous. So like,
amenities included in your ticket pricing. What else would we be looking for?
I think so, like a place that kind of like encourages a fun like environment, not just somewhere where it's just like dead, you know, and just like people are just there to listen and stuff like that. Because I feel like if you're paying a lot for something, you should at least be having fun and enjoying it.
Right, so after they get your money, they do something to make the experience worth it for you. Keeping it fun, providing with water, things like that. Okay, so now that we've thought about what it is that we would like to see, let's go into something that we've actually been to. So I want you guys to think back and tell me about what is some of your first concert or festival memories. What are some things that you remember about it? Doesn't have to be anything specific. Again, no right or wrong answers. Just tell me what comes to mind when you think about your first concert or festival. Or the one you remember. Maybe it's not the very first one, but the one you remember first.
Meeting new people who like the same music.
Okay.
I went to Garth Brooks for my first concert, and it was really fun because he never left the stage. He didn't talk between his songs or anything, and he like ran around the stage the entire time he performed. He never just stood still.
So what makes that stand out in your mind? What did you like about that?
It was really
particular-
enjoyable because it gave you something to look at. He wasn't just standing there with the microphone. He was actually like dancing around and having a good time, so it made you have a good time as well.
Okay. What else? Somebody else, what do you remember about your concert experience?
First one I went to was Daddy Yankee, and I was in 5th grade. And I was surrounded with a bunch of adults, but I was with my mom. It was fun.
What were some of your favorite parts about it? Like the aspects that you remember just like, okay.
Well, I don't know. I had like a huge like crush on him, so just like seeing him was fun.
Yeah.
You know.
You had something good to look at, so it made the concert great. All right. What else?
I saw Brad Paisley, and kind of the same thing that Taylor said. He was a good performer, like not even just the way his voice sounded, but he connected with the audience well, and I feel like that's important. You have to remember that like those are your fans, and they're the reason why you have a concert. So if you're not really paying attention to them while you're performing, then it kind of makes us reluctant to go see you again, because if you didn't really make a connection with us, like we're the reason why you have concerts. So
Yeah. So would you say collectively we feel that if the performer makes an effort to make you feel wanted there as an audience, that would be a reason that you would go back to see it or purchase tickets?
Yeah.
So that plays a big factor?
Yeah, they bring you on stage too.
Okay. How many of you have been to like a smaller show type setting? Like, okay, what do you think are the biggest differences between like a smaller show and a smaller venue and some of the big concerts or festivals?
More interactive from what I've seen.
Okay.
They're more interactive.
And is that something that you feel that you want from your concert or show or festival is more interaction?
Yeah. Like they'll bring you on stage, they'll have different people, they'll stage dive, all that.
How many of you have stage show?
I think it would be fun.
It's a lot of fun. I only ask because I've done it before and I remember thinking afterwards like there should be way more opportunities like this. So that kind of touches on what other types of concerts or festivals do you go to? What do you look for when you want to go to a concert?
Just something I know I'll enjoy. Like,
Okay.
I wouldn't purchase them because tickets aren't cheap.
No.
So I wouldn't go to something that I'm just gonna be like, I can listen to this on the radio or like something like that. You know, like I want to go somewhere where I'm gonna have fun and actually enjoy like hearing the people and stuff like that.
Do you go to music concerts that you don't know the artist, or do you have to know the artist to be willing to purchase tickets?
I've gone to a few where I don't really know the artist, just because they're close. Like someone asked me to go with them, so I'd say yeah. But,
Now, what were the ticket prices for those? What did they look like?
They were like $40. They weren't expensive tickets.
Okay. So if you were going to go see somebody you had never heard of before and the ticket price was a good price, would you go to the concert or would you still decide not to go to the concert?
I would go if I was going with someone I know I'd have a good time with.
Okay. So it goes back to like the experience, whether it's put on by whoever's hosting the concert or if it's just with the people you're with.
You're paying for the experience and environment.
Exactly. Okay.
I wouldn't go somewhere I didn't know them by myself.
Okay. So it has to be somewhere that you... Now, going off of that, if you were going to a concert of somebody you knew, really wanted to go see, would you be willing to go by yourself or would you still need to have that group of friends that you would want to attend with?
I think it depends on the environment and where it is. If it's far away, I won't go by myself because, you know, there are dangers.
Yeah.
But if it was like I can drive back afterwards, then I might.
Okay. Who else feels like that?
I would probably go by myself if it was someone I was like really a huge fan of, as long as it wasn't like a couple hours away. So if it was like somewhere close that I wouldn't have to like get a hotel and stuff by myself, I would go.
All right. Perfect. So kind of going off of those things, I want you to think back to that first concert or some concert you've attended. Kind of picture whatever one you want in your mind now. And we're going to go around and kind of talk about why it is that you chose to go. See what those common factors are. So what are some of the reasons you chose to go to the concert or festival you chose to go to? Doesn't matter which one you pick.
my friend had an extra ticket, and I mean I still have to pay for it, but I didn't really like country music, and it was a country concert, and everything just worked out. She had an extra ticket, and I was free, and it was an artist that I liked, so.
Perfect. So artists that you like, it was a music genre that you liked. You got to go with a group of friends that you were like, and price, I'm guessing, was probably right for just taking the extra one. Okay. What are some factors that made you decide to go to your concert or
The
festival?
people that were going and the people that were performing, and my parents paying for my ticket.
Okay. Perfect. Now, going off of that, if you had to pay for that ticket, would you still have gone, or would have you made a different choice?
Now that I have a job, yes, but if I didn't have a job, I wouldn't go.
Okay. Perfect. What about for you? What were the factors that made you decide to go to that concert or festival?
I was going with a bunch of family, and I've seen like their videos because it was for like an orchestra, but it wasn't like a traditional one.
Yeah.
And just like the experience, and they use a lot of lights and sounds and like special effects kind of thing.
So it felt like it was going to be worth it for all of the things that you would be getting there. Okay. Go ahead.
Well, I go to a lot of banda concerts, and I like going because, well, yeah, I like banda, and then they always have multiple artists, so it's just not one. And I like to go dancing, so I get to dance, and then like the friends I go with, and we always somehow we get the perks of taking pictures with them at the end.
Nice. So again, that experience that you get to have there and the activities you get to do. Do you like concerts that you're not able to dance for, or is that something that you look for, like
That's what I
specifically?
look forward to, but no, I've gone to concerts that are just there to listen to the music.
Here's another question. How many of you, when you're at a concert and it's like seating and like you have to sit where you're assigned, is it uncomfortable? Are you comfortable standing, and do you stand or do you sit the whole time? Like how do you interact with a concert for things like that?
I usually stand.
Stand?
Standing.
All right. Do you think that it would be more convenient if it was somewhere like shoreline where it's just open and everybody can interact and mingle?
Yeah.
Is that something that you look
Yeah.
for versus you had mentioned already that you don't like the select seating because it feels very confined and you don't get a look. So is that something everybody thinks that they like?
Yeah, I've been to a few concerts at Shoreline, and they're definitely more fun because you can, like she said, like dance around and have a good time, and you're not stuck in a seat.
Okay. And then going back, I know I pulled this off, but going back to the other question, what were some factors that you looked for when you decided to go to your concert or festival?
Just they were artists I liked, like all of them. It was multiple artists, and I knew it was gonna be fun because it's I don't know if it's a it's like a festival type of concert thingy, and like everyone posts videos and stuff, and it always looks fun. It's something where like it's very hyped and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
Plus, my sister paid for my ticket, and like a lot of friends were going, and
So it was a good price.
yeah.
What were some things?
Well, I've been to a few concerts at the same venue, and I kept going back because like I enjoyed the experience I had got like the time before. So, and they were mostly country concerts. I had been to like a few different genres at the same venue, and it was cool because it was the same thing. I knew what to expect, and like obviously with different genres there was a different atmosphere, but it was still the same. Like I knew exactly what to expect, and it was a lot of fun, and the tickets were pretty cheap because they like had deals and stuff. And I think that if the tickets were more expensive, I probably wouldn't have paid for them, just because it was kind of like the same thing. I knew what to expect and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But the tickets that I had gotten were like seated ones.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I went, and I regretted it completely. I hated like having a seat. I hated having to sit there with my friends. Like we were all like next to each other, but it was like wasn't as fun. I couldn't dance and like meet new people. So like the next time I went like with a general seat where like you could just walk around like on the lawn, and that was way better. Like the experience completely changed. So
All right. So you would pick, if you were given the choice between a seated area and one that you got to have like an open lawn or whatever, you would always go with the open lawn.
Yeah.
Because it changes the experience.
always, yeah.
Okay.
I'll agree with what she's saying about that. My first experience was it was a Garth Brooks concert, and we paid a lot of money for our tickets because it was one of his last tours.
Mm-hmm.
So that was definitely what like made us like accept that it was going to be expensive.
Yeah.
But we've gone to quite a few other ones that are in like a grassy one, and it's so much more fun. Just like getting like the open environment to like walk around and stuff like that. You're not stuck in one place, and it's a lot easier if you're going to go do anything because you don't have to walk back through people to get back to your seat.
So if you were given the choice, say it was a concert you really wanted to go to, and there was 2 tickets. The seated ones were less expensive and the grassy ones were more expensive. Would you pay more to still have the lawn area versus the seated?
Yeah.
I think it depends on the price difference too, though. Like if you say it's a $50 difference, like $50 to $100, like that's a big difference.
Okay.
And also like where the seats are, like you can't just, that's
Okay.
pretty generalized, like just seat or whoever.
So it's across the board, it's not only being able to walk around and dance and seat, there's other factors that go into that too.
Yeah.
The price difference and also where those seats were at.
Yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
good to know. What about for you? What are some factors that made you decide to go?
Just the people performing and who I would go with.
Okay,
Basically it.
what about for you?
People you go with, who's there. My first concert I went to was in LA. Went out for the whole weekend for Halloween concert, so
It made it worth your
Yeah.
money and your time.
brought on stage, all that, so made it. First concert was good.
Does that make all the other concerts, you compare them to that first concert?
Oh yeah, your first time going to see them, and then they bring you on stage, and it's so much better.
Yeah. So now that we've been thinking about all of those things, we're gonna write on the board here. We are going to, I'm gonna squeeze past you. Also, I apologize for both my writing and my spelling. If something's spelled wrong, just go with it. You can figure it out, I mean, it's close enough. So we're gonna kind of go through what our ideal concert or festival would be. What are the factors that you would want in this hypothetical one that we're making? So, what's one thing that you would want from this concert?
Open seating.
Okay. Open seating. What's another thing that you know you would want from this concert that we're creating? Free water. See, I would want free caffeine.
That's it.
No porta potties. There has to be real bathrooms.
Okay. Or maybe like those luxury porta potties. Have you ever been in those? Those are nice. Okay.
Nicer
Nice
bathrooms.
bathrooms.
That's important.
And multiple bathrooms.
I gotta pee all the time
Because
because
there's
I
been
hate
concerts where there's like 2 stalls for 5 million
I can
people
hold
that
it.
are in there.
Yes. What else do we want from this?
Multiple artists.
Multiple artists? Okay. That's a times, by the way, because you're like, what? Does she have an X there? All right, multiple artists.
Reasonable pricing.
Okay, so let's kind of take a little detour here. What would you consider reasonable pricing? Say it's going to be let's start with a one day. It's just a one concert and it has maybe like 4 or 5 artists, kind of like a not so silent night type of thing, right? It's just the one night, or you can choose to go to the one night. There's multiple artists, but it's not longer than a day. What would you think that your pricing for that, what would be ideal for you? And it had these things too.
$100.
$100 you'd be willing to pay? Okay.
Me, I think max I would pay like for good. Like it's open seating. I think I would pay $200. Especially
Okay.
if it's artists I really want and 5
Someone I
artists.
really want to see in 200.
Yeah.
200? Okay. So we'll go 100, 200. This is a one day, and it has the rest of these things going on. What about if it was a multiple day? It was a 2 to 3 day, a weekend type of one. What would your price range be?
I think
then?
max 600.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that would have to have artists you really like and multiple of them, and all the other things.
Depends on how soon you got your tickets.
Okay, how fast you got them. So let's see. Ticket speed, we'll add this as to one of the things that we want. What would you think that you would be okay with them starting at? 100?
It's
Zero.
Yeah, everybody's at easier. Where do you think they would probably start
Probably
at?
like 400.
Okay. All right, so here's our pricing. Ticket speed, what else would be some factors we would want in an ideal concert or festival?
Super strict, like regulations. Like if
Okay.
security's making you stay here and like quiet down, that's kind of just
Okay. Not too many rules. No problems with being
Say
short.
a big venue.
Okay?
Yeah, lots of room. Yeah.
If it's an overnight one, we need somewhere to stay.
Available housing for the weekend and good price.
Yeah.
So if your ticket price, say was a little bit more than this, maybe it was like 700 or 800, but you had guaranteed pricing or guaranteed housing, would you be willing to do that? Or you want to just make sure there's enough housing available that you could choose your own?
I would rather be like a package, like all
Yeah,
included.
easier.
Okay, all inclusive.
It'd probably be cheaper too if you just do it as like a bundle.
Yeah.
Especially if there's multiple people going, then you
Yeah.
can just split the cost.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so good housing available, probably an all-inclusive deal. What else would we want from this?
Places that serve food inside.
Yeah, reasonable
Okay.
price
Snacks.
Yeah, reasonably priced.
I don't pay
You're not trying to pay
$20
$20 for a pretzel.
Oh, that's what it is too.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. That's what they charge you. Like soda, that'll be $7.
You
No,
can fill the whole thing with ice.
Yeah.
But you can keep the cup.
They don't care. And they always have that if you come back with your cup, they'll only charge you $10 rather than $11,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So reasonable pricing or on snacks, or you could be able to bring your own.
Yeah.
What else are we looking for in this ideal concert? Does where it's located, like proximity to where you live, matter?
Yeah, depends on what the concert is, because I'm
Okay.
willing to travel for some.
I
Okay.
would definitely do that.
If we're staying like a package deal where we're getting housing and stuff, I would definitely drive far for it.
All right. It may matter. It may not matter. How many artists would you want at a concert? So say if it was a one-day concert, how many would you want to see that would make it worth paying $100 to
I'd
$200?
say like 3 to 5.
Okay.
If there's more, that's awesome.
Yeah, I feel like for that amount of money, I feel like 3 is more like,
Yeah.
yeah, based on how much it costs.
Seeing too many concerts in one day, you won't really see a lot of their songs played.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like
Doesn't mean as much.
Yeah,
if there's
3
so
would
many.
be like good because then you actually get like their full albums and stuff played.
Yeah. So here's another kind of going off of that. Say we're playing this like $100 to $200 price for your one-day ticket. Would you rather see multiple artists, or would you rather have one artist that you see that plays the whole like 4 hours?
If it's a song, or if it's an artist I love, then I
Yeah.
want all the songs. But if I'm going just to like check them out, then if it's only a couple songs, I could manage.
Yeah, because it does suck when you pay for an artist that you like and then you leave the concert and like he doesn't sing one of the songs that you wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So when you're looking for this ideal concert, if it was somebody we loved, we don't want anybody else because we want to go the whole time.
Yeah.
If we're willing to pay because there's a lot of good artists that we would just like to see how they are in concert, then you're happy with 3 to 5
Yeah.
for that kind of one day. And then a 2 to 3 day, how many would you want to have there available for you at a festival?
Like a lot.
A lot. Okay, so at least, I know usually they have like,
Well,
yeah, they have like 10 plus artists, right? And then a bunch of little ones that in between you can decide whether or not you're going to go and see them.
Yeah.
that's always a good thing about like if we were doing like a one-person concert is they always have openers that play like 2 to 3 songs
Yeah.
before, so you get the experience of seeing like a new artist for the first time that you wouldn't buy tickets to just their concert.
Yeah.
sometimes you end up really liking them. Too,
Yeah.
So it's cool.
And it makes you decide whether or not you'd want to buy tickets for them to go see them at another time.
Yeah.
I've been to a few where I actually end up liking the opening artist more than the actual artist.
So let's take a look here. If you guys want to take a look over, is there anything else that you want to add? Are you happy with this list of things you would look for in an ideal concert?
Does alcohol fall under reasonable price snacks?
We'll add that.
Yeah.
These drinks are expensive.
Yes, they are. It's more expensive than anything else.
I feel like bringing your own snacks is important. Like a lot of concerts, you can't bring anything in, so like that sucks because if I am thirsty and I don't want to pay $7 for a water, I'm gonna be mad because
Yeah.
I couldn't bring in my own water.
You can bring it in. So
Yeah.
it either has to be reasonably priced or you have to be able to bring it in
Yeah.
Yeah.
for
I
yourself.
feel like places that you can tailgate are a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know some concert venues don't let you.
So pre-concert activities.
Yes.
If you're already paying like $600 say for the 2-day one, I don't see why you can't bring your own water in.
Yeah.
Because they're not
Water's
losing
important.
anything by charging you $5 for water.
I know. They provide ambulances there and you think like, well, if you just give me water, we can avoid a lot of
People
this.
would pass out.
Yeah.
Not been in the ambulance.
Are we happy with this list? This is what we look for? Okay, great. So now that we we kind of know what it is that we're looking for, what are some examples of things that would make you be a red flag? Yep, I'm not buying tickets for that concert, don't want to do that. What are some of those things look like?
No bathrooms.
No bathrooms, okay?
Oh, yeah.
I would not go.
The stuff you would have to know, like, from previous experience. Like, I feel like the stuff that we would want, you would have to know, or someone would have
Yeah.
to tell you about. Like, you wouldn't see that on the ticket unless it was like the price is way too expensive.
Yeah.
So the venue that it was at, you'd have to know whether or not it had all the things you wanted, the open seating, all of those things. The artist obviously would probably just make you decide.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole reason to go to a concert, to be honest.
The price of the tickets, if it didn't match up with what it is that you wanted to have there.
Or if somebody went and then like just the way they conducted like the security or, you know, handling issues, if it was just, I don't know, that would be a big.
Yeah, which kind of ties in with the venue. A lot of the venues always use this exact
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
What about like line times and how to get in to the venue?
I feel like if there wasn't a lot of places like inside, like to get water and food and stuff, you would be like less likely to go because you're gonna wait in line for half your concert to get a water
Yeah.
or get a snack.
Or to go to the bathroom. I've waited in long lines to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
It's irritating.
Or too long of lines, I guess not, would be a reason that you didn't want to go.
Yeah.
What are some other reasons? Think back to some of the concerts that came up and you were looking at them and you were like, yeah, not buying a ticket for this. Why did you choose to not buy a ticket for those?
Travel times.
Travel time?
It's just ridiculous.
No seating. Expensive seating for not a very good experience.
I think like where the seat is located a lot of the time too. Because
Okay.
I don't mind paying like money for a seat, but if it's at like the way top of a stadium, I'm not gonna do it.
Like, what's the point of paying a lot of money?
You can't even see it from that point anyway.
If you had a concert that you wanted to go to with artists that you really like, it had to be scheduled, or not scheduled, but assigned seating and you weren't able to sit next to all of your friends, would you choose to go to that concert still or would you choose not to?
Probably not.
Okay, so who you can sit with is important.
Yeah. I would say like the rules on like standing and sitting and stuff would play a factor of it too. Like if you have to sit down for a whole concert, I wouldn't be okay with that.
Yeah, nobody wants to sit at a concert. What about the way that your artist acts? Do you look into what people say about their past concerts to decide whether or not you want to go to them?
If they act like they have to be there, then I probably won't go.
I skip a few concerts because I've heard that they're kind of boring on stage. Like they just stand there with a microphone and sing. And I think it's more fun to actually see the artist like interact with the crowd and like dance around on stage.
All right.
So I wouldn't buy tickets if they're just gonna stand there.
Well, the artist's presence on stage and attitude is important. Nobody wants to pay a bunch of money to go to somebody who looks like it's a chore for them to be there,
I've
right?
also heard some people say that some artists get like super drunk before they start, and like that makes me not want to pay for the ticket because it's like I get it, like we want you to have a good time with us, but if
Not
you can't
gonna-
even talk on the microphone without slurring your words, I'm not gonna pay money to go watch you.
Yeah. So it needs to feel like you're appreciated, that they acknowledge that you spent money to go see them and not get hammered before they even show up.
Going along with that, I'd be say like they don't lip sync too. 'Cause
Okay.
why am I gonna go to a concert that I could just listen to it on the radio?
We want them authentic.
Yeah.
Do you want your artists to practice new music on their set with you or only do the songs that you've already heard, know, and love?
A little bit of both.
Okay? So both song types.
It depends on like why I'm going to see them. Like if I know it's kind of difficult because
If we're going to the concert of like someone that we've like loved for a long time, we'd want them to play like I would say like their hit songs. But if they throw in like a couple of new ones, it'd be cool to get the experience and like hear songs for the first time.
The new ones.
I agree. More of the old stuff, obviously, because that's why you paid for it, because you
Mhm.
like those songs. But you want to hear more of their new stuff too, because you just like them as an artist.
All right. So I think this is a good list. We're all happy with this list of reasons you would choose not to. So our last kind of closing question, what would you say if we had to sum up this whole thing? Everybody kind of go around and say what maybe your top 2, number 1 important things you're looking for when you decide to pay for a concert or a festival.
Is that including the artist?
Yes, yep, whatever your top factors are. So if you're looking at a website, you know a festival's coming up, whatever the first few things that you rank at the top that decide whether or not you're going to go.
The artist and the venue.
Artist and venue.
Price and seating.
price and seating.
I think the artist and like who's gonna go with you.
Who's gonna go with you?
Artist and pricing.
Artist and pricing.
Artist, pricing, and then seating as well.
I would say artist and location of where it's at.
Artist and location.
I say artist, pricing, and location.
Okay.
Artists on location.
Artist and location. So we're pretty split here, and we have a good amount of what you guys factor. Some of you, pricing is the number one thing, but for the most part, all of you guys are looking for an experience, and you'd be willing to pay for it to a certain degree if you were ensured that you were going to get it.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Well, you guys have been wonderful. It's helped us out a lot. Does anybody have any last minute questions or concerns or anything they want us to know? All right, perfect. You guys are great. Thank you so much.